Welcome to the Childcare Director's Chair, the podcast for bold educators who are ready to lead, grow, and shake things up in early childhood education. Whether you are a teacher eyeing that lead role, a lead stepping into leadership, or a center owner dreaming big, this is your space to grow with purpose and leave your mark. Hosted by heart-centered leadership coach Erica Sacoccio, each episode brings you real talk, actionable tools, and a contagious laugh or two, all designed to help you step into your next level with confidence. So pour your coffee, pop in those earbuds, and take your seat, because your leadership journey starts right now in the Childcare Director's Chair.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Childcare Director's Chair podcast. I'm your host, Erica Sacoccio, and if this is your first time tuning in, well, welcome to our community. We're so excited that you found us. But for those of you who listen to me day after day, you already know what's coming. I love you guys. I love my community. And I have a few shout outs. I want to say thanks for listening. Victoria, Ontario, Illinois, Maryland, Kentucky, Alabama, California, New York, Michigan, Queensland, Nova Scotia, Minnesota, Rhode Island, and of course, I can't forget Pflugerville, Texas. I get so excited when I look at the stats and where people are listening from, and I get, overjoyed when I see new listeners coming in from different states. But what really, really, really jazzes me up is when I see you guys tuning in day after day after day. And I just wanted to let you know how much I really appreciate you and this community that we're building here. So from my heart to yours, thank you. I can't say it enough. This week, we are focusing a little bit on ourselves. We often are so focused on your staff and all the programs and all the stuff that we have to do every day. But I really want to help you be the best leader that you can be, but also find joy in it. And so I thought maybe we needed to look inward for, the next few episodes, and I hope that you will enjoy them as well. Today's episode is called Drama, Detours, and Discipline, Rewriting the Script in Your Head. Because I know on those tough days, you're rethinking it. I know we've all been there, right? You walk in to work and think, why does everything feel heavier than a 2-year-old refusing a nap? Well, one little moment, a passive-aggressive comment, a surprise visit from licensing, or a heated conversation with a parent, and suddenly you're off your game. You're doubting your decisions, you're responding in a way that maybe not so professional. You're doubting those decisions. You're responding from stress instead of strategy. And it really does happen to the best of us. But here's the truth. Just because drama shows up doesn't mean it gets to stay. Leadership isn't about perfection. It's about emotional discipline, mental clarity, and learning how to hit a pause button before the panic button. So today we're going to take a deep breath. I want to get into what it really means to rewrite the mental scripts that sabotage your power. I really love John Maxwell. And, Maxwell says, you cannot overestimate the unimportance of practically everything. Let that sink in. Reacting isn't impulse. It's driven by fear or ego or urgency. Responding, however, is grounded in intention. This is where your influence lives. As a childcare leader, you face dozens of mini crises literally every day. But not every moment is an emergency. And that shift happens when you stop taking things personally and you start seeing them professionally. That teacher showing up late again, it's not about you. It's about expectations. It's about systems. It's about follow-through. Or that parent who's just wondering again about your curriculum every single week. That's your cue to respond with clarity, not defensiveness. pause, breathe, and then speak from your mission, not your mood. Here's some things you can do to really help yourself do that. You can write down 3 recent moments where you reacted instead of responding. Now rewrite them. What would it have sounded like if you took a pause? What boundaries or truths needed to be said? And, managing adult tantrums, the staff, the parents, and even you. We know how to handle a preschooler who's losing it during transition time. We stay calm. We validate their feelings. We even help them co-regulate. But when it's a grown-up throwing a fit, that's when most directors freeze. Whether it's an overwhelmed teacher emotionally jumping in the office or a parent yelling at drop-off, the key is for you to hold your leadership energy, to not match their chaos. Adult tantrums usually come from burnout or unmet needs or lack of boundaries. And guess what? That includes your occasional meltdown too. We see you silently crying in the supply closet or the place they call the vacation spot, the AKA staff bathroom. The real flex is learning how to de-escalate with compassion while protecting your own peace. That might mean walking away. And this is something I talk with one of my directors about quite often because somebody really likes to rattle her feathers sometimes. And I just say, walk away. Documenting the behavior can help, or simply just saying, hey, you know what? Let's revisit this when we're both calm and focused. And that's a great way to just take control of that situation without letting it take control of you. You can even create yourself a quick script or a phrase that you could say when you're heated, right? Maybe an example might be, I want to make sure I hear you clearly, so let's step away from the noise and talk when we're both had a breather. Again, that doesn't put any personal part in that for you or them. It's saying we both need to take a break. We can come back when we're clear. And there's some power in that because you don't have to respond right away. You do have the ability to say, you know what? We're going to table this right now. And that's, just putting up your boundaries. And boundaries, those are the gateway to freedom and sanity. You don't need to do everything for everyone to be a great director. In fact, the more you underfunction, the more you overfunction, the more others will underfunction. Meaning if you do everything for everyone, that they don't have to do anything. And boundaries aren't walls, they're gates. And they tell people where our limits are and invite them to raise on their own responsibilities. When you say I'm unavailable during nap time for non-emergencies, or our policy is in place to protect everyone's time, you're not being rude. You're being rooted. Boundaries create clarity. They reduce resentment and protect your most valuable resource, your energy. Leadership, my friends, is exhausting when you give it away without intention. Set one personal and one professional boundary this week and stick to it. Even when it's uncomfortable, watch what shifts. And I want you to reframe problems as puzzles. Not every problem is a crisis. Sometimes it's just a puzzle that needs a better system or a fresh pair of eyes. And reframing your biggest headaches, whether they're wait lists, enrollment, parent communication, as solving challenges, helps you step into creative thinking instead of emotional overwhelm. And that's where innovation lives. Enter Jackrabbit Care, your secret weapon to simplify your back office chaos. Instead of stressing about who's on your wait list or who's missing enrollment forms or who didn't get that last email, you could be leading. And Jackrabbit tools are built for directors who want to spend more time shaping culture and not shuffling paperwork. So think of one reoccurring problem that steals your time every week and ask yourself, what's the system here? What could it take to either automate, delegate, or best of all, eliminate? If you're ready to turn your drama into data or your overwhelm into organization, then schedule your free demo with Jackrabbit today and tell them that CCDC podcast sent you. Now, let's talk about the power of the pause, because the pause is your superpower. When emotions are high and wisdom is low. So we just pause to realign. Before you answer that email, before you respond to that frustrated teacher, and before you spiral, why can't anything just go smoothly? Pause. Breathe. Ask yourself, what does this moment really need from me? And that split second between stimulus and response is where your higher self leads from. And in that space, you choose presence over panic. You choose impact over impulse. And that's where your real leadership lives. Not in the loudest voice, but in the clearest mind. So practice one 30-second pause per day this week. Before your morning meeting, before handling a tough conversation, before sending a frustrated text, just pause. Notice what shifts. So, director, your mindset shapes the culture of your center. Your calm is contagious, and your energy sets the tone. And the way that you lead yourself determines how you will lead others. So if you're tired of letting detours derail your day and drama steal your joy, it's time to reset the script in your head. So let's commit to leading from peace, not panic, clarity, not chaos. And don't forget to check out our sponsor, Jackrabbit Care, because when your operations run smooth, you are free to lead like the visionary you are. Share this episode with another ECE leader who's maybe feeling off track lately. Leave us a review if this spoke to your soul, because we are out here rewriting scripts together. Have a great day. Thank you for tuning in to the Childcare Directors Chair podcast.
That's a wrap for this episode of the Childcare Director's Chair, where we believe leaders aren't born, they're grown. If something sparked for you today, share it, shout it out, or pass it along to the next bold changemaker in childcare. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and stay connected with Erica Sakosio for more real talk leadership tools and a whole lot of inspiration. Until next time, lead with heart, grow with fire, and always remember, the chair is yours. Now own it.